Welcome to Fair Game. I'm Kristine Leahy. My guest today is one of the top R&B artists of all time. He's been nominated for 17 Grammys and has sold over 25 million albums worldwide. Brian McKnight is here. Wait, you look surprised when I'm even saying that.
It's not surprised. You have to understand that it seems weird to be embarrassed by the things when people start talking about your accolades or whatever, but I'm just Brian.
You're just Brian?
When I'm on
like
stage
Brian.
for those 2 hours, then I have those moments occasionally. The other night in Minnesota, I'm standing on stage and I literally started crying because during the encore, every woman in this theater came down to the front, and I had to remind myself, it's like, oh yeah, I'm Brian McKnight.
So it's like a persona almost.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
I liken it to Clark Kent. You go in the booth, you change, and then when you're done saving the world, you go back to just, sitting on the couch.
Well, this is a really cool interview for me to do, and I am saying, like, you're Brian, but the Brian McKnight, I have to say, I think I broke up with my high school boyfriend, and Anytime is all I listened to.
Wow.
At that time, we were just listening to it upstairs, and people have so many moments that they reminisce to your songs. You must get that all the time.
You can see it. The minute that it starts on stage, you watch. And I would say this, that most athletes want to be rock stars, and we all want to be athletes. And I think the difference is that when you go to see a game, unless it's tennis or golf, or sometimes not even golf, you're going to see one person.
Yeah.
You're going to see a team.
Sure.
When people come to see me, they're only coming to see me.
It's all on you.
And it's all right there. And for that, however, you have them all in the palm of your hand. To have 5,000 people sitting there when I'm not saying anything and it's just quiet, waiting for me to say or sing something, is probably one of the greatest feelings. And then a song that I wrote 30 years ago comes on and they lose it. It's still very cool. I
was singing Start Back at One all morning already.
Yeah, and that's 20 years old this year.
So when I'm listening to those songs, though, it was such a time where it was like romantic and respectful of women. And then you listen to music now, and listen, I like Future. I just say listen to Future, don't do what Future says, or don't kind of take it in. But the music now, it's not the nicest towards women. How do you feel about music today compared to back then?
It's difficult to say whether something's good or not when it's not your era.
Okay.
These kids have grown up at a time, and I look at my own children the same way, where they just don't have the same kind of values no matter what you try to instill in them. They grew up with cell phones, they grew up with smartphones, they grew up with the internet, they grew up with a lot of different things that are parenting them more hours of the day than you can ever possibly hope to. So these kids are only making the music which is indicative of their time, no different than in the 40s or the 50s or the 60s or the 70s, the 80s, 90s, 2000s. And for those of us who are older, who can now look back and say, oh, well, that's crap, or it's this, or you're not being this or that, they're only echoing what's happening in the world. And I know that it sucks. It does suck.
It's terrifying because one of the main kind of concept is, oh, my main chick, I'm going to swap her with my side chick, and that's okay.
True. But they're doing it in public now. This is not a new thing that people just now started doing.
This was happening for a long time.
It's been happening since the beginning of. I talked to my dad. I was like, Dad, the 50s is painted as such a time when everyone was prudish and nobody had sex before marriage. My father was like, are you crazy? This has been happening, but it wasn't public. It wasn't something that you did. And it was, at that point, it would have been detrimental to your career, would have been a bad thing.
Sure.
Things that used to be a stigma may not be a stigma. Now, maybe, I dare say, you may want to go out, kill a guy, maybe. If you get off, it may help your record sales. So you just don't know. So I would say, yes, if you could listen to music and not do what they say, that would be a good thing. I'm just not sure that these kids can do that. And that would be the only negative thing that I would say about it.
That's what I think too, is I think when all these little boys are listening to their favorite rappers and R&B singers sing these words, is that they're going to take it in and think that that's okay. I personally think the world needs to listen to more of Brian McKnight.
Well, what you hope is that when you look at the Avengers movies, you see these superheroes doing amazing things, jumping off of buildings. Hopefully those kids aren't going out to say, hey, I'm a superhero. I'm going to go jump off a building too. They can be able to compartmentalize, say, that's not real. Yeah. This is real life. That's what the hope is.
I hear what you're saying. So you've said that you think being a professional athlete is the best career in the world.
Yes.
Is being a really, really famous musician not the best career in the world?
I would say that it used to be.
Oh, that's deep.
But I can say that because now I'm 20 years removed from when I was the biggest that I ever was.
Okay.
I would say this, is that the compensation for the professional athlete has gone up with his importance.
Sure.
And for us, because music has become so very disposable, it's much more difficult to make a living doing what we do the way it used to be.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to harp on that because it's still great. There's more music being consumed than ever for free. But
you're not getting for free.
For free.
That's the important part.
But you have to learn and adapt with the times. But
I hear
still,
you.
again, I dare say, would you rather be LeBron James or Drake? It'd be great to be either one. But I don't know.
That's interesting. And they're friends.
Yeah.
So you were a Bulls fan. I'm from Chicago. I'm a huge Bulls fan. But you're from Buffalo.
I'm from Buffalo.
How did you get to be a Bulls fan?
Well, I saw Michael Jordan play in high school.
It's fair.
And Michael got drafted, so I became a Carolina fan, which I'm not a Carolina fan anymore either.
Okay.
So I'm not.
All right.
I'm not that I'm wavering.
You're not about the jersey. You're about the player.
And the team.
And the team. Okay.
And the team. So from 84 to 98, I was the biggest Bulls fan there was. Now, Dan Patrick would say that I'm one of these guys that just goes from great team to great team. But I was there when they were losing everything for the first 9 years. And to see that team come together when Phil got there, when Scotty got there, when Horace got there, and they became a team, when Michael decided to pass and trust some people, that was great to watch and witness for, those however many years after that happened, 6 championships in 8 years over that time. Would have had 8 if he doesn't retire.
Are you mad at him for retiring?
I'm not mad at him because I can understand that there were things going on in his life at that time that he needed to get away.
Yeah.
We've all felt like, you know what, I just need a minute. I need a minute.
Sure. I heard you had a chance to play him one-on-one. Did
It
you
wasn't
really pass that
one-on-one.
up?
It wasn't one-on-one. So after that retirement, you remember there was the strike. Mm-hmm. So he was filming Space Jam over here in Burbank, and they built him a gym. And he had everything in there, full court, every weight you could think of, an 18-hole putting green, the whole nine. And all the guys in the league were flying here to work out with him. So I'm in there, I'm shooting around, I'm like, I'm gonna play with these guys. It's the only time I've ever backed down from something because I watched how he treated everybody who was on his team who didn't make a shot.
How did he treat them?
Like they were his children.
Do you think he would have done the same thing to you?
Yes.
No.
And it wasn't like we're talking about a couple of college guys. These were NBA stars.
Really?
That were in there.
Tell me what he would say to them.
He would make a shot and he'd say, "This isn't television. I'm not gonna make it a little less colorful.
Okay.
This isn't television. This is real. This is a real thing right here. I just did that. You think I've been gone? I'm still the king. I'm still the man. I'm 3 guys. We're talking. These were like for real, like superstars in the league that were here. It was amazing to watch.
Do you regret not playing?
A little bit.
That's like the Space Jam era.
Because then I could really play. I could really play at that time, but I didn't want, with our friendship and the way we were at the time.
It would ruin your friendship?
I'm not saying it would ruin it, but I wanted him to still think that I could play. I didn't want him to think that then and tell somebody that I couldn't because I don't know, I froze up. The only time in my life I've ever frozen up, that was it.
Wow, not even a performance. It was
never,
play Michael Jordan.
Never, yeah.
I mean, I get that.
I would have played on his team, and I played with Magic, I played with everyone. But for some reason, when it came to him that day, because the competition was really high that day. It wasn't like they were just playing around.
It was for real.
It was like Game 7 of the NBA Finals, every pickup game that
Burbank.
day.
That's crazy. I wish I could have been there.